Hello everyone, today while I am gone, you guys are going to be working on systems. So systems of equations are the same thing that we've been doing with graphing, except for now there's going to be two lines on one graph. Okay, we're going to graph both lines, and then we're going to see where do they cross. Wherever they cross, that's going to be our solution. So if we look at this first example here, we're going to kind of do a few together, and then you guys are going to try out a few on your own. If I have y equals 3 over 2x plus 4, I'm going to color code this so that it's a little easier to see which line's what. So the first thing that when we're graphing a line we need to identify is what is my slope and what is my y-intercept. So my y-intercept is that second number. That is your b value. So that is where I'm starting on the y-axis. So I'm plotting a point at 4 right here. Okay, then my slope is 3 over 2. So that means a rise of 3 and a run of 2, and it's positive, but if I go up, I'm running out of space, so I'm going to go down 3, and then I want positive 2, so I'm going to go over 2, so that way when I draw my line, it is actually going to intersect, or it is going to create a positive slope. And the difference from this and last time is we are going to continue in this pattern until we are all the way off the graph. Okay, there we are. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my line, arrows on both sides. Okay, we got our first line drawn. Now it's time for our second line. Our second line, y equals negative 3 over 2x minus 2. So my slope is negative 3 over 2, and my b value is negative 2. So we are starting with my b value again at negative 2. And then my slope is negative 3 over 2, so I'm going to go up 3, and then I'm going to go over negative 2. I'm going to go up 3, I'm going to go over negative 2. So there is my other line here. Okay, so as you can see, there is a point that is on both lines. This point right here is my solution. Okay, so we need to identify what is that point. If I were labeling it as a xy coordinate, my solution would be negative 2, positive 1. That is my answer to this system of equations. Okay, let's go ahead and look at another one. Number 2. Hopefully you guys are following along and writing these down with me. We're starting out with the first line. I've got y equals negative 1/4 x minus 3. So we are going to identify my slope and my y-intercept. Go ahead and try writing this out on your own first. So pause this video and think about what your slope and your y-intercept would be. Okay, then hopefully you have paused this video and tried it out and then checked with your answers. With me, our b value is a negative 3, and then my slope is negative 1 over 4. So I'm starting always with my b value at negative 3. Then I'm going up 1 over 4 in the negative direction. And I'm going to keep going all the way along my graph here, and then I'm going to go ahead and draw my line. Okay, now we need to do the same thing, but we need to graph my second equation. So why don't you guys go ahead and pause this video and try and graph this line by yourself. Okay, hopefully you paused the video and tried graphing it on your own. I'm going to go ahead and go over it now. My m value is that first number there, so negative 3 over 2. And my b value is positive 2, so we always start with my b value on my y-intercept. So I'm starting here, and then my slope is negative 3 over 2, so I'm going down 3 over 2. Well, we're not crossing the other line yet, are we? I got to keep going. I'm going to go down 3 over 2. And there you should see that if I were to draw this line, I am intersecting, or I am crossing my red line at this point right here. So this is my solution. But that point, we have to identify. What is that point? Well, I go over 4 units and I go down negative 4 units. So my solution is 4, negative 4. So we did all that graphing for this answer right here. 4, negative 4. All right, let's look at number 3. Oops. All right here. So first equation that I'm going to graph. Y equals negative 3 over 4x minus 4. So identify your slope and your b value. My slope is -3/4, and my y-intercept is -4. We always start with my y-intercept. So on the y-axis at -4, I'm plotting a point. Then now I'm using my slope, and I'm going to go up 3. I'm going to go over 4. And then I'm going to draw my line. Okay, then I've got my second line here. Now, there's no number in front of the x here, so what can you imagine there being? Well, imagine there's a 1 right there, right? So, go ahead, pause this video, try graphing this one all on your own. Hopefully you pause the video and tried this out. I'm going to go over it now with us. So, my m value is 1. And then my b value is 3. So we always start with my b value. So I'm going to start at +3 on the y-axis. And then a slope of 1 is really the same as 1 over 1, right? So I'm going to go up 1, and I'm going to go over 1. Same thing, I'm going to keep going all the way up and down my graph until I figure out where am I going to cross that other line. Oh, right there. So I can go ahead and draw my line between all these points here. And then this right here is my solution. This is where we cross both lines. Okay, so go ahead and try and identify what would that point be labeled if I were to identify it as a point. We should have -4, -1 as my solution for number 3. Okay, we're going to do one more together, and then you guys are going to do the rest on your own. So hopefully you're starting to kind of get the hang of it. You're just basically graphing lines and then figuring out where they cross. The hardest part is to identify how do I actually label the point out, okay? All right, last one that we'll do together. The rest will be all on your own. So first equation, first line that I'm going to graph, y equals -1/4x plus 3. So first thing we need to do is identify what is my slope, what is my y-intercept. So why don't you go ahead, pause this video, and try graphing the line in red by yourself. All right, so we should have gotten something that looks like this. If your line accidentally went the other way, that means you forgot about your negative sign here, so make sure you go back and fix that. But you should have started at your b value here being 3, and then your slope goes up 1/4. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing with my blue line here. We're going to graph my blue line, and I'm going to give you guys a chance to try it out on your own, so go ahead and pause this video and try this out before I give you the answer. All right, you should unpause the video here now, and you should have gotten something that looks like this. Hopefully it was going up to the left and it crossed at one point right here. If you went up to the right, that means you forgot about the negative. And if you started at the +3 instead, that means you forgot about this negative. So just be careful, and then look at this point right here. This is our solution. So if I were to identify that number as a point, x first and then your y, I would identify this as -4, 4. Okay, and that is your answer to the system of equations. So I know this might have been a little complicated while I was gone, but I wanted to give you guys a chance to try it out. It's good to get used to trying to learn in different ways. So hopefully this made sense. If not, we will go over it again when I see you guys on Wednesday. So good luck with the rest of it, and I will see you guys in class on Wednesday.